And welcome to the Anything Rolls podcast. I'm Lucas Hill. I'm going to be your host today.
I'm Garrison Chips.
And I'm Royce Walder, the butt of the joke.
A literal ass. So we got him here today, and we're gonna just talk about whatever rolls to mind. I think today we discussed that we wanted to talk about games in general, and just see where that conversation led us, as far as that goes.
I'm gonna ask everybody, what's their favorite game of all time?
Mine? That's really weird. Do you mean series or do you mean just games in
Either or, because my answer would be my favorite series is Mass Effect. My favorite singular game is Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda.
I'm gonna have to say, if my favorite game series is always gonna be Sly Cooper, it holds a really special place in my heart as far as that goes.
I never got around to playing Sly Cooper.
I have the HD remaster on a fucking PS3.
Well, whenever I get around to playing that, I'll look forward to it for sure.
I also have the PS3 game Thieves in Time too, so I have all the games.
Nice, very good.
Very, very fun. If you like platforming with a little bit of just kind of a whack-em game, then you're going to be in for a good time. Because the first game goes into the whole stealth and puzzle platforming kind of thing, and the second and third games and the one after that tends to focus away from that, where it still has its platforming elements. You've got stealth mixed with a little bit of action. It's just funny. It's a fun game series, especially when you're like 9 years old when it first came out too, and it was great.
Right. Speaking of platforming games, actually, that brings me to what my favorite game is. Whenever I was young, I just could not help myself. Anytime that I saw Super Mario 64 and or Donkey Kong
Jesus,
64,
I was never good at that game.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, that is my favorite, probably besides Ocarina of Time. That is my second favorite.
See, I've never played a Zelda game, which is really weird to me.
Honestly, you should give it a try because if you can get 2DS, 3DS, whatever, you can play.
But I'm not a big fan of Nintendo products. I've always been a PlayStation guy. I own every frickin' PlayStation that there is. I have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4.
See, I was Sony at first, 1 and 2, and then I went to Microsoft 360 and Xbox One. And I won't disagree with you. I like the GameCube, I like the N64, and I like their handhelds. But the Wii and the Wii U, in my opinion, are honestly garbage. The Wii U stopped production really soon. They had very little games. Most of them.
And then they, no pun intended, switched to the Switch.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they had a really good launch title. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but Zelda, the open world one, Breath of the Wild. I want to play that game a lot. But other than that, that's all they really have right now for the next few months. And so, I honestly think Nintendo will go belly up if this console doesn't deliver, because their handhelds can only keep going. I mean, Pokemon.
I'm interested to see, because they're really pushing third party with Skyrim coming out on it and all those third parties coming back and trying to build this system. That's what's really interesting me. I want to see what they go with this. Sorry for the flub. If Nintendo goes down that path, they might be their salvation, actually.
Well, but the biggest issue that Nintendo has right now is the fact that they switch systems so repeatedly. If they just installed a way to backwards compatibility, like with the new Xbox One X, the Project Scorpion, Scorpio, whatever it's called, the new console. They came out saying that they had tons of games that you can play backwards compatible.
Well, the original games for the Xbox they announced finally.
But Sony has something like that too with the PlayStation Now. Granted, you do have to pay money for that service, but I mean, if you don't mind shelling out a few, I think it's $25. Somebody will correct me on that if I'm wrong, but you pay X amount of dollars and you get to play classic PlayStation 3, 2, or 1 games. And hell, you can even buy a PlayStation 1 games. I mean, it's not like you're just paying for the same service. You're getting those games. They're full games, and they're the same games. There's nothing changed about them. I bought Final Fantasy VII on there. I haven't played that ever. I got into I only played Final Fantasy 15 and I really loved it. So
yeah, that's great. That one is an amazing game. 13 is an abomination in my personal opinion.
That's all I've ever heard about.
Everyone talks shit about 13. I don't think I've had a single Final Fantasy conversation that didn't involve ranting about 13.
Because basically it takes about 24 hours to get good, and that's not an exaggeration. I've played it, I got to the end of the game, kind of got stuck in the last boss. Honestly, just didn't want to finish it. It was kind of annoying.
A good Square game. I've always been a fan of the Kingdom Hearts series.
Oh, I cannot wait.
That is my favorite game. Honestly, the game I want most on next generation console. Fallout 4 was great. The game's coming out great. I love Bloodborne, phenomenal game. Dark Souls 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is what I'm waiting on. Honestly,
I think a lot of people have been waiting on Kingdom Hearts 3. I think they've been teasing that enough. I think we're ready to burst our load on Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I know, honestly, yes.
They went in such a roundabout direction in releasing number 3 because they came out and said, we will release multiple named game titles that'll connect the pieces that aren't in 1 and 2 and describe the mysteries.
But that's what the remaster was. It was putting all those together and then fixing problems that were in 1 and 2 that made those kind of story elements kind of weird and didn't make sense. So they threw those in there for people who never got it.
Yeah,
right.
And Dream Drop is a phenomenal game. Like Dream Drop Distance, like best combat in the series in my opinion. Being able to jump off blocks, the fluidity.
I could not get in. I think what the problem with, for me, the reason I can't get into Dream Drop Distance, and maybe a few other people can agree on this, is just that they added too much at the beginning. They added the whole Dream Eater sequences.
I did not like that. That was my major thing that I did not like about the game.
Kingdom Hearts Pokemon.
That was kind of fun. Honestly, people might hate me for this. People might agree with me. I like Goofy. I don't like Donald. Because Xehanort can be giving his badass, deep speeches about the heart.
And then you hear Goulash.
Yeah, and then you hear top of his lungs in the corner. And
we're supposed to stop the Heartless, Sora.
Exactly. And, like, Mickey, I think, does a great job. He's the Goofy voice, but he's still that character everybody knows and loves. He's heartfelt like Sora. But also, another opinion that I have that Dream Drop's kind of put into me, I like Riku better than Sora. I don't dislike Sora. I don't hate him by any means. I think he's a great, protagonist.
Most people don't know he's voiced by Haley Joel Osment in the first game.
That's a wild fact.
That's a wild fact. Like, I want at some point sort of in the first game to be like, I see dead people.
Yeah, honestly, me too. Because that would have been fantastic. And
what even really are Heartless besides the dead incarnation of someone?
No. They're the bodies left over when a heart is gone.
Yeah, which can be taken.
Which is weird because the nobodies are the hearts of people that have been. I think they were like left behind hearts that formed these things. So why are the Heartless called? I guess never mind.
They have such controversial names.
Okay, I'm gonna explain it. This is a little bit of a spoiler for Kingdom Hearts series, so I'm letting everybody know that ahead of time.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Dream Drop Distance. They explain it because it said originally in Kingdom Hearts 2 that Axel and those nobodies didn't have hearts. That was actually not true. They did. The nobodies are the husk left behind when a Heartless is formed. Basically, when someone loses their heart, whether it's stolen, they give into the darkness, whatever it may be, and their heart leaves, a Heartless comes from that, and the nobody is the shell of the body. And so then that happens. Of course, Sora kills with the Keyblade, and anyone who kills with the Keyblade with a Heartless sends the hearts to Kingdom Hearts. Overarching
thing.
So
they're basically dead. There's no way of bringing them back.
Yeah, there's not. And honestly, the best way I can explain Kingdom Hearts storyline to somebody who has never played the game is as complicated as Metal Gear Solid to explain to somebody else. Because this guy's a triple agent, octuple agent doing this for this, and the heart's here, but it's not there, and it's there, and there's time travel, but there's not time travel, but there is at the same time. You gotta play the game to know what I'm talking about. Because I could sit here the entire time explaining it to you, and it's hard to comprehend, honest to God.
Not to mention the 4 people that use pretty much the same exact name.
Yeah, Roxas, who's Ventus, who's a nobody, who's also not a nobody. Then you got Ansem, and then there's just...
Xehanort.
And Xehanort. And Xehanort.
Yeah. Actually, there are 13 Xehanorts. After the end of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop, they explain the real purpose of Organization 13 was to recreate the original battle for Kingdom Hearts, the 13 Darknesses versus the 7 Guardians of Light, the Guardians of the Princesses. And so Xehanort created 13 incarnations of himself. Like, I apologize for forgetting his name, but they got the eye patch. Nobody. No. It's just with an X, like everybody else in the fucking thing. Yeah, I can't remember his name. I cannot remember. But
Names! The Bane of Garrison!
Yeah, he is the incarnation of Xehanort. So was Xemnas, also an incarnation of Xehanort. A lot of them were.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget Riku is Heartless, who goes by Xehanort.
It's a very complicated system, but the gameplay overwise has kept to a steady balance, other than when Chain of Memories, which everybody would wish to forget.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I don't consider it part of like the Kingdom Hearts. I mean, it had a decent storyline with the whole Roxas kind of background and how he came to be, but.
Going back to the beginning of this conversation, though, with Donald and Goofy, a lot of people hate Donald, but I've also seen a lot of people hate on Goofy. And the thing I have a problem with on that is that Goofy may sound like an idiot, but
he
he
I mean, let's be honest.
He's your tank.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, he reiterates the things that everybody already knows, but he's also the one who connects the dots most of the time.
Yeah, honestly, and you expect him to be obviously goofy, silly. That's his persona.
The name implies it all.
Exactly. And honestly, I'm going to say to everybody out there who's never played the game, think it's too kiddie. Honestly, there's so many deep things in this story. Yes, there's Disney. I get that. And a lot of people playing it now are adults. Like myself, I'm 24 years old. I play the games. But it's more rewarding than just a whole bunch of Disney characters and Square Enix characters. The storyline itself isn't really about that.
Square hasn't gotten over their whole thing of let's complicate the story, make it more interesting.
Well, yeah, exactly. And actually, fun fact, actually, with Kingdom Hearts, originally it was meant to be, Sora was meant to be half lion and have a chainsaw blade. But the Square Enix CEO and the Disney CEO met in an elevator and started talking, and they changed the formula. That's actually a fun fact about the game because it could be completely different, way more adult, and not at all with Square. With Disney, I mean. And of course, the elevator chance meeting made it happen the way it is now.
A lot of games are like that. Like a lot of changes are made after the fact or during production and all that. And that's a lot of things people don't realize is that a lot of games are made with a lot of intention. I'm a big fan of Jim Sterling's videos, and I like to watch him, and I agree with a lot of the things he says about how the game industry changes things or does things based off trends and all that. Now, and as much as I agree with that, and there's a lot of truth behind that, there are still some companies out there willing to take chances on creativeness and just try and put what they think is good out there. But for the most part, yeah, he's right. There's a lot of corporations that go, this seems to be doing very well. Let's do that.
Yeah, exactly. Like earlier, watching actually an episode about Sonic, and Sonic had so many ups and downs. Like there's the PS3 one that we don't talk about. That was just an abomination. That was glitchy and trying to make it like a Final Fantasy game, and Sonic trying to get with a human female, and a whole bunch more stuff like that. But then the Generations, like you talked about, phenomenal game, truly good for Sonic, and then they changed the formula because they're afraid to stay the same. Like for example, Elder Scrolls. One of the most popular RPGs, if not the most popular RPG of all time.
Or at least in the West.
At least in the West, yes. And it's so much fandom, and so little things change from here game to game. Open world, same races, basic same classes. Of course, Morrowind was very different from Oblivion, but it's still the same basic concept.
And then there was the drastic change that was Skyrim, which is the one that, if you are new to the series, everyone loves.
And I'm going to get to my pet peeve real freaking quick here, because most modern gamers, because he's right, their first Elder Scrolls game, are not going to understand. Most people call it, when's the next Skyrim coming out?
Oh yeah, when's Skyrim 2 coming out? Excuse you?
It's Elder Scrolls. That's the 6th game in the series, and so few gamers actually know that fact. Morrowind's my personal favorite. I like it more than Skyrim, I'll be honest.
I tried to play Oblivion, and I got so confused and so lost very quickly.
Let me ask, did you play Skyrim first? Or did you
No, I actually played Oblivion first.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking, if you went back to it, it's honestly... For me, Oblivion, as much as I love it, special place in my heart, one of my favorite games when it came out, it is kind of the awkward middle child, in my opinion, of Skyrim and Morrowind. Morrowind had far more you could do, far more freedoms in a sense, but it didn't have fast travel in the same way, and it was more clunky combat. It wasn't like you hit. It was more like a die system, kind of like World of Warcraft. You could miss this by hitting. And so it's harder for old games to go back to. But Skyrim refined the combat from Oblivion to where it was better and near perfect, in a sense. And so Oblivion is just kind of the awkward in the middle, I would say, at this point.
Not to mention the potato faces.
Yeah, that too. And what I want, honestly, from the next Elder Scrolls game...
No, I wasn't. I was just making the faces of everybody in Oblivion going...
And every race has the same voice for their gender, if you notice. Unless you're unique characters. Like every male orc that's not like a main character, same voice. Every Breton...
Yeah, but I don't think you can get 30,000 voice actors to come in
there.
Well,
Skyrim actually did. There's actually really diverse... there's a lot of the same, but it's also kind of more broad, a little bit.
I don't know. I prefer Skyrim just simply because you get just as much freedom as anything else. And you're not held by the hand. Here's the first mission, or the first sequence of the game, teaches you basically anything you need to know, and then it's like, have the fucking fun you want.
Well,
right.
Fun story though about Morrowind, like, the reason why I say it's more freedom is because I could start a new game right now, and in 2 hours of the game, I could make a spell in the Mages Guild, I do it before, called, all caps, fuck. I walk in there, snap my fingers, everyone, including the Archmage, dies in one spell.
See, now, with
And then Phoenix Wright comes in with his finger.
Objection!
Oh shit! He's making an objection. Hit the fucking deck.
The next time I'll make the spell, I'm gonna call it objection.
Objection.
overruled. I am a fucking unkillable NPC.
There's a game series I've been getting into lately, Phoenix Wright games. I got the first 3. They actually sell the first 3 games on iOS and Android, and you can go in and buy them for the whole pack. And man, they're so much fun. But I wish those games had like a little bit more hints as to what you're needing, because if you don't show them these people like the exact right shoe, you're fucked.
But honestly,
There's a shoelace missing. It's the wrong shoe.
Dun dun dun.
Objection!
Overruled.
Fuck.
Honestly, I'm going to talk a bit about games like that, because honestly, a lot of, and I don't say that I don't like these games, but most modern games try to go 3D, blockbuster, like...
Spend millions of dollars.
Whatever happened to just having simple and fun gameplay?
But honestly, my favorite
You want to know
game-
what happened?
Corporate
Corporation.
greed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even that it's corporate greed, it's that something Jim Sterling says will actually fit in here. Game companies, if they have to have no money, they have to have all the money, because some money just isn't good enough for them.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
What happens when that happens? Capcom reports losses. Sega reporting losses. Final Fantasy reporting losses. Or not Final Fantasy, Square Enix reporting losses. When you put so much money into something and it only is going to sell a base of $60, you better expect that thing to be the greatest fucking thing you've ever put out, or you're going to fail.
Yeah, right.
You're going to lose money.
And
If
then
you
you got
spend... Like, I can do simple math for you right here, right now, and state that if you sell it... Let's just state for the fact that they make a game for $40 million. Probably more,
Right.
probably less, but let's say it's $40 million.
Simplification.
yeah.
Yeah, let's say it's $40 million, right?
Yeah.
And then you sell a game for $60 million, right?
Yeah.
I mean, $60. And you times that by...
I was about to say, I will never buy that game. Mostly because I can't afford it.
Better make you orgasm on the spot when you want to play it. But let's say you sell...
Turns on the console.
What do you say? Most games sell what? Maybe 2 million copies?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, you're only making $120 million, which means you're only making 30. You're making 3 times that. But that's a lot of profit. But you're not taking out marketing costs, paying your fucking people.
Advertisements.
That's what marketing is.
Oh,
Also factor in, everybody's trying to get these games out, but if they don't sell fast enough, guess what happens? The price goes down. For example, like let's
Which
say,
is a common craze.
And if you're pushing those games out too quickly, then you've got bugs and first day patches and bad reviews and people not buying these games because guess what? You've released it out too quickly.
Assassin's Creed Unity,
I was about to say that.
best example right there. That game.
That's because Ubisoft can't slow the fuck down for a minute.
Well, that's why Origins has. I'm trying to think about like the Witcher kind of combat, gear system, level up system. Like you can't just counterattack anymore. They're changing the formula, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Can I have my Assassin's Creed game that takes place in World War II, and I don't have to use I can use guns and shit, but it's also very limited on what I can do. So I would play the shit out of it.
I just want to halt this real quick. Our conversation right now is the very personification of ADHD.
Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to backtrack because we're talking about games that are blockbusters. But my favorite game that has come out since the PS4 and the Xbox One have come out is honestly a game a guy made by himself in his basement. It's not Minecraft. Everybody's wondering. Stardew Valley. And it's a Harvest Moonkin game, but way better every way. I've never had a game so fun, so intricate. Basic 2D sprites for the graphics. Nothing flashy, no crazy cutscenes. You have a farm, you have a cave, you can fight monsters. There's actually a platforming section. There are events. You can get married. You can have children. You can do a whole bunch of fun stuff. You can blacksmith. The ghost of your dead grandfather will visit you and talk to you about how good your farm is doing, okay? You get a pet dog or cat. You get
Grandpa?
That's basically what happens. And
you came back. I just wanted to tell you, Sonny, you're fucking worthless.
Thanks, Grandpa. I've never heard anything so nice.
Except from Dad, Mom, Sis, Auntie, Uncle, pretty much everybody.
Generally, everybody that I know.
Exactly, and games like that are enchanting. Like, think about it. The guy, Notch, who made Minecraft, sold the rights to Microsoft for $1 billion after making the money he already made from the product. Think about that. This guy made it at first by himself with his brother in the basement. That's what he did.
And it's such easy, basic stuff. And I'm not saying that it didn't take time to program or anything, but it's blocks that you build on top of other blocks. It's fucking Lego the video game. Before Lego the video game became every other series with Lego elements in it.
Right.
I went for GTA.
Lego Marvel. Lego Dark Souls.
Like,
The hardest Lego game to ever be released.
Whenever you die, something you die, it says you broke.
Oh, Jesus.
Rebuild yourself and start anew.
And so I think beautiful graphics are nice. I don't dislike them for any reason, but some of the most enchanting games I've ever played have been really simplistic in their design. Like honestly, like Golden Spin.
Well, that's because the big budget game industry is looking through this tunnel vision. We need this military shooter to sell this much, and they've left this big fucking market open. It's like this field, and all the indie developers are going, look at all this space to develop, and they're coming in
frolicking in the fields of creativity.
I played a game here recently called Papers, Please. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard it. Yes, very very interesting game. Go ahead.
I have played it, and as it can get really stressful and all that, but there's something about building that in that game where it's like at first you start off, it's just pass these people through. If they don't have this, pass them through. And as the game goes on, it gets progressively harder when you have to check 16 different things against one thing. And it's so because the tension in the country is rising, so is your tension in your job. And on top of that, you have to support your family by letting so many people through in a day. And you only have a certain amount of time to do it. It's so easy to set simplistic mechanics and make them realistic into your world of your game.
It's like going back to Phoenix Wright. It's a game about being a lawyer.
Hold on real quick. I want to make a statement towards what Lucas just said. So basically, what you're telling me is that it's real life, the video game.
No, not even that. It's more of let's take an element that seems boring and mundane. Let's put some tension to it. Let's put you in that situation, and we make it simple enough to follow and add stuff as we go on. But the problem with the big budget game industry is that they think, well, we need this special, awesome screen, and we need this $1 billion
push out a
cutscene.
product that really, really just what's the word?
Exuberant?
Exuberant. It draws the attention.
But you don't need that.
You don't.
People are satisfied when they get something that costs money, that they pay for, that they're getting their time's worth out. I can look at something and go, oh, that's cool, but I can only look at that once before it's cool. I don't have the novelty of wiping my mind and playing the game again.
Exactly. And honestly, I'm going to give an example. I will say this outright, in my personal opinion. The best RPG released in years, better than Skyrim in my opinion, honestly in its own way better than Mass Effect in my opinion, was made from a Kickstarter page, from people from Obsidian, the ones who made the original Fallouts, Baldur's Gate, stuff like that. It's called Pillars of Eternity. The game itself, it's like over-the-top tactical RPG, and you can be so many different races. Your background is so in-depth. It's not a dialogue wheel like every major RPG has had, and even Fallout has that. I like it when it first came out with Mass Effect, but I miss having the list of things to say, like not just the Old Republic. Also one of my favorite RPGs.
But that's the thing about BioWare. They managed to take that and they made an MMO out of it. And it's a really damn good MMO. And you know what's really cool about it? I don't have to pay a fucking cent to play the game. I can go into the game, sign in without paying subscription base, and play the game. And I don't feel like I'm any different from any other player in that game. And that's the freedom BioWare has with Star Wars The Old Republic.
Yeah, that was a good job, but I disagree with you. I hate that game for this reason. They went past the original KOTOR game storyline to everything about Revan, fucked it up, and then now we're never getting a single-player KOTOR game again.
I'm still waiting for the day that they release Star Wars: The Texas Republic.
Texas. All that game is going to be bickering for 3 hours.
Yeah, right.
Basically.
Oh, we can't have this in the state. Yes, we can. No, you can't.
What in tarnation? Basically.
By the way, we don't say tarnation. I have never once in an actual conversation heard someone from the South say the word tarnation.
I blame a lot of media for that. But besides that, it's when I like the dialogue options I get.
Yeah.
And I like the customization I can make with my character. I like the storylines that go with those characters. I'm waiting to see what they do with this. With what EA's doing right now is just this untitled project just called Star Wars. That's made by a female director, as far as I know. And this could be wrong, but we saw it. I saw little glimpses of it. I'm like, okay, you got my interest. What are you gonna do with this? Because something that'd be really cool is if you mix No Man's Sky, the way you could go off other planets, all that, and jump to different systems, and you could do that in the Star Wars universe. And those planets are inhabited by people of that planet. So if you go to Tatooine, it's gonna be Tatooine.
Yeah. Also, the deep intricacies that could exist in the Outer Rim in the expanded universe are actually vampires and zombies in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, but you know how Disney is with that. They just retconned it all.
Yeah, but it's true. But the thing is, with Outer Rim, they could literally put anything out there.
Tell you what, the perfect game as far as Star Wars goes to me is if they did No Man's Sky not exploration, but traveling mixed with Mirror's Edge type like parkour Jedi fighting. With if you want to be a soldier, Battlefield is a really good. Do that mixed with all that, and you'd sell fucking every copy you have on the shelf.
Allow the player to choose the Mandalorian race, and I guarantee you, every Star Wars fan is going to jizz in their pants.
Well, let me ask: have y'all played Dragon Age Inquisition?
I tried.
Well, the rumor is they're going to be making a game like KOTOR, the single-player one, but it's going to take place between episodes 3 and 4, The Fall of the Jedi, which would be really interesting. I would love to see that. And it's going to have more of like a mixture of the KOTOR mechanics with more modern, kind of faster pace that Inquisition brought.
They call it the Fall of the Jedi, but let's be real, it's more like the fall of everything.
Yeah, very true. But I mean, it's like right as it all happens, so you get all the freedom and stuff like that.
True.
And
the things that they never explain in any of the movies.
Yeah, honestly.
What happened?
Stuff.
No, you don't know? Oh, okay.
Neither do we. So
right.
You want to go watch Rebels?
Honestly, Rebels is actually pretty interesting. 'Cause I first thought it a little kiddie and stupid, but like it actually becomes more and more dark in depth. Like there's really badass Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan scene that happens later on, and also you can see Darth Maul tries to get an apprentice to overthrow Sidious, and that does not go well for them. Because everybody wondered in episode, I believe it was episode 3, how did Yoda lose to Sidious? You never saw him fight. That episode shows you why. He's a badass.
Yeah, they did a fight.
Well, but he kind of did the 180 screech at Mace Windu and then beat up Yoda. You never saw that build up as to his overall power. Kind of like in Harry Potter. You never really saw Dumbledore go to full strength, but you know he was a badass.
Hold on, real quick. We've gone from games to movies. We're finding very difficult.
So the D&D ADHD podcast. That's what we're gonna call ourselves.
But we are the dice rollers, where we roll onto completely different conversations every 5 seconds.
It's not my fault.
It's all of our faults, let's face it.
Yeah.
But I don't even know where we would go back. It's just there's a lot to talk about as far as games go, because you could talk about the difficulty of games, which is subjective. You know what I mean? I could talk to you all day about how hard Dark Souls is, but somebody could come up and tell me it's not hard. And to certain people, and to a lot of people, if you pay enough attention, if you do enough of it, it is not hard. But you could go play Mario 64. Jesus, how the fuck did people play this?
Well, you gotta look at it objectively. Every game is difficult until you get past the learning curve, and Dark Souls just happens to have a very large learning curve.
Honestly, I will. Now that I've gotten this far in Dark Souls, I'm going to tell you, Dark Souls 1 is not hard to me anymore. Dark Souls 1 is a cakewalk.
Just press the ease button, play a Pyromancer.
No, I can pick up this
Play
game.
Sorcerer where you can cheese spells from a distance.
I could pick up the game right now.
Your max range is 2 feet in front of you? Well, mine is 30 feet. So fuck you.
Yeah, and if I didn't go beat all the bosses, I could go start a game right now in Dark Souls 1 and beat it in about 3 hours.
I'm gonna hold you to that at some point.
We're gonna record that and we're gonna show that.
Actually, yes, that would be a very good recording.
Yeah, because again, as long as I don't have to fight all the bosses, just the main ones, give me about 3 to 4 hours and I can beat that game.
Fair enough. I say we do it.
As long as I don't get stuck on Gwen or Ornstein's mouth.
It's the return of lipstick.
Yeah, I name my character Lipstick because I want to look pretty when the game fucks me.
It's time to put on your makeup, honey. But I don't want to go to work. You don't have a choice. The bonfire beckons.
Oh, god damn it. But it's easy to look at something and go, well, this is difficult. It's like, well, and somebody could come up and be like, no, it's not difficult. It's easy. But like, I've played Bloodborne and I'm pretty decent at that game. Like, I've gone through and beaten most of the bosses except for Orphan of Cause because fuck that guy. Seriously, fuck that guy.
That giant shrimp, man. It even has a freaking string that apparently he throws it all around, and whenever it comes back, it says some shit from Toy Story or.
There's a snake up your ass.
Basically. Honestly, it is a game for masochists when you first start it. Honestly, in Dark Souls 1, the joke I always make, when you get hit and you're playing as a male, you go, oh.
Yes, the game literally makes sexual moaning whenever your character is damaged.
I went to Pornhub and just recorded a bunch of sounds from Pornhub.
Yeah, it's literally, one time I was playing and I got hit, and I was like, oh. That's all my character did for like...
Rip shirt off.
But whenever your girl died, it's a blood
Yes, hit me harder, please.
Oh, you got a whip? Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Jesus.
I must warn you, before you use that whip, I may not be able to resist myself.
I'll start jerking off where I stand.
It's
And I jizz in my pants.
like it's like you die, and it's your character going, oh.
But getting back down to the nitty gritty though, if we're gonna do a Dark Souls playthrough, I also think that we should do a special side campaign with it, where as you're progressing through, we have a section where maybe me and Lucas, who aren't quite as adept at the game, are sitting there and we just switch off on death, or maybe we both use the controller and one of us has one side and the other has
No!
It would make things so fucking hard.
Actually, I'll make an agreement. I'll do Drunk Souls.
We should all do Drunk Souls.
Most people should do Drunk Souls.
Everybody should do Drunk Souls.
Royce is my witness here. I beat Sif the Wolf 7 shots in without dying once.
That was actually
saddest
really,
boss ever.
It was very impressive, and yes, you are correct. That is the saddest boss fight. You are literally killing the companion of the most glorious knight of Lord Gwyn.
Until you play the DLC and you realize he's not that great.
Well, he was before the act.
He was before the whole,
Abyss
shit.
Yeah, he was like among one of the. He could have fought all the other knights by himself.
And every Dark Souls game basically has this this plot line to it. Everything was great until the Abyss.
I wouldn't say that. Not the Abyss itself, but the dark that came from the Abyss.
Yeah.
Because Dark Souls 2 is a lot of that, like fragments of the dark coming and trying to fuck shit up.
True. Fair enough.
But
wasn't that mostly in the DLC?
Not in the first one. In the second one, yes, but it was still alludes to it with Nasandra being a part of that.
Right. Okay. Nasandra, she was the one who brought the darkness to Drangleic.
Well, here's the...
Right.
Okay, one day I'm going to give it... I know all the lore of Dark Souls one day. That's too long for this podcast.
I think that should definitely be its own podcast.
But
Seriously.
I'm going to explain Nasandra real quick. Nasandra was a daughter, a fragment of the Abyss. And the fragments of the Abyss sought out lords. That's why she sought out King Vendrick in the first place. So she could basically get him to the most powerful he could be and then take it all away. And cause anarchy and chaos. This is what they're driven for.
You have done it. You have risen above the rest. You have become a god. Now I'm taking all your power. Yoink.
Now you're hollow.
God, it sounds like we're playing the beginning of God of War.
God of War 2.
And 3. You want massive power? We'll take it from you.
You have massive power. Now it's all gone, and you must accumulate it again.
I don't see why that's a trend in games where they're like, they'll give you all the shit and then they'll take it away.
I actually watched a Watch Mojo video. If you don't know who Watch Mojo is, a great channel. They do a lot of top 10s, or rather, more than often, it's like top 7 or top 15. And they go through and explain stuff like times that you couldn't hero because of glass. Or the hardest boss fights that could be done in the easiest possible way, and stuff like that. Well, the one that I watched was basically I forgot what we were talking about. ADHD.
Top 10 games that take away your powers at the beginning.
Oh yeah. I was watching a top 7 video for games that give you a glimpse of glorious power before stripping you naked in front of everybody. And at the top of the list was, in fact, God of War 2, where you are immensely powerful and you are fighting this gigantic statue that is crafted by Hephaestus and Athena, only to have Zeus appear in the middle of the fight and go, "Hey, guess what? What? Fuck you!" Stabs you right in the fucking chest and drains all your power.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the new God of War either. So.
Well, I like the Nordic scene a lot. Like, I love Greek mythology, all that good shit. Zeus, all that.
But let's face the facts here. Norse mythology, just 1,000 times more badass.
Yeah, honestly,
I mean, come on. The bringer of the end times is a wolf.
And also, I'm going to tell you, Kratos has a fucking beard, okay, this one. And he's got a son, and that's pretty...
Well, it's not confirmed that it's his son. Not that I know of.
Fair enough. I don't think a lot has been confirmed about the game, unless it's already been released.
No,
it wasn't even shown at E3. Honestly, E3, I'm going to get on this topic. I know we're ADHD, but E3 disappointed the fuck out of me. Microsoft did a lot of cool shit. Sony itself did a lot of cool shit. Bethesda was an abomination. I love Bethesda. Some of my favorite games come from them.
Hold on. Bethesda, now reintroducing the cash cow.
Skyrim. Well, again. And also...
This time... with VR.
And
completely useless VR, but VR nonetheless.
And paid mods.
When it comes to VR, I love VR and I hate VR depending on how you move in that game. When I played God damn it, it's gonna kill me. It's the one with the robots. Not Armored Core. I keep thinking it's Armored Core. I know it's not Armored Core. Riggs Mechanized Combat League.
Right.
And I love the idea of that game where I'm in a fucking combat. I feel like I'm playing, there's an anime that's called Immortal Grand Prix. And I feel like I'm playing that sometimes. I'm like, but man, do I feel like I'm going to vomit every 5 seconds I walk in it.
Yeah, and
take that away from, like, Resident Evil didn't do that to me. I played Resident Evil with VR, and I loved it as VR goes, because I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say, with the exception of horror games, because horror games benefit greatly from the VR immersion and put you into the atmosphere. But most VR games are just, honestly, a gimmick to get more money out of you. Let's be real.
Well, okay, but you also got to look at it this way. VR, while it's made abundant steps from a few years ago, the problem with it is that it's just, I feel it's too clunky right now. And it's not like it can't be successful, it's that it won't be successful until the future comes around.
Well, but like I said,
so we have nerve gear and we're completely in the game.
Yeah, a full dive system.
Yeah.
But right now, it's viewed mostly as a gimmick because they don't have the kind of technology to make it to where it's fully immersive like you would expect VR to be.
Well,
which is an unrealistic expectation considering that you can't cater to everybody.
Well, that's why I say horror games are the one genre I think benefits. Because honestly, I've seen it. Like he's Resident Evil 7. Great experience. Because it doesn't make you nauseated. They fixed it down, made it work. Because it
improves the game altogether in VR because you can control the gun better.
Yeah, that too. The gun was kind of really clunky in that game.
I did not play the game. Unfortunately, I only got to watch on the sidelines.
Yeah, I beat it in less than 24 hours.
I was there for the last 3 chapters, I think.
Yeah. Honestly,
the father, what's his name, Jack?
Yeah,
that fight was probably the best fight that Resident Evil has produced since Resident Evil 4.
Honestly,
before everyone goes crazy, yes, Resident Evil 4 is regarded the best in the series, and for good reason.
Yeah, honestly, we made the joke about it being Skyrim a cash cow, and I like Skyrim, don't get me wrong. But whenever it comes to Resident Evil 4, it is the perfect game of its genre. Like, it honestly is. Like, I will never dispute
And they
that.
really milked it.
And even though I talked shit about the Wii earlier, I will say on the Wii, it was pretty fun having the motion controls for that game. I played it on the Wii, on the GameCube.
But did you use a gun, or did you just use the controller
I
and the
used
nunchuck?
nunchucks. It was actually my dad and my sisters beat that game too. My dad got farther than I did. He got the Infinite Rocket Launcher in that game.
But, okay, real quick, while we are still on this subject, what exactly was the reason for calling it the nunchuck? You can't spin it around; it'll break off eventually.
Well, you know the warning: don't swing it at the TV or you'll break it. That's probably how it started.
I feel like it's just a gigantic joke.
What was
by
the
Nintendo.
game in which you had a rocket launcher that was also your weapon, like your melee weapon in the game too? I want to say it's one of the Devil May Cry games.
That would make sense.
Yeah, DMC is amazing.
Oh,
Wait, no! Before we get into an argument with somebody on the comments, what are you talking about? DMC, the new one?
Okay, honestly, I did. A lot of people hate on the new one, but the gameplay is my favorite in the series. Like,
it's a great gameplay.
Honestly, it's phenomenal.
It does change a little bit of the classic style where you hold down one of the bumpers in order to activate a new set of skills. But at the same time, it gives you a completely different set of combos that you can do.
Yeah,
because you can.
I love the gameplay. I hate the redesign.
Yeah. Honestly, he is Derp Tay in that one.
Derp
he is not.
He's douche Tay.
The scene where they do that what was it, the throwback?
Yeah, the wig lands on his head.
That'll never happen.
To
which they respond with the end of the game, his hair turning white.
Yeah. And look, honestly, speaking of games like that, honestly, I hate Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. Revengeance to me is an abomination. Because
Rising Revengeance?
Yeah, because spoiler for Metal Gear Solid real quick, a small one regarding Raiden. It is technically a continuation from 4. At the end of 4, Raiden is not a fucking cyborg anymore. He gets his happy family, his son, and Rose, okay?
And just like almost every other game, it snatches it right out of your hands.
No, Kojima himself said, that's a good fan fiction. So, I'm just saying, even he, the creator of the series, said that.
It's like the GT of Metal Gear Solid.
It's like, the gameplay's great. If it had just been about Gray Fox instead, I thought it would have been phenomenal. Why not Gray Fox? But no, they had to make it after 4 with fucking Raiden. If it had been a prequel to 4 with Raiden, him becoming the cyborg, that would have been cool. Gray Fox, that would have been cool. But they had to just basically give me the middle finger to my happy ending for Raiden. That made me sad.
Metal Gear is not a game I've ever played, nor do I ever feel like I would like. Just simply for the stealth mechanics alone.
I still think that any hardcore gamer for the Metal Gear Solid series would say that one of their favorite games would either be Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater or Metal Gear Solid 1, in which the final boss breaks the fourth wall not once, but twice.
Yes.
If I wanted a game that broke the fourth wall, I'll just go play Deadpool again.
No, this guy breaks the fourth wall and not like in the game itself. He will read your memory card and say, you like playing the actual game's name, don't you? He'll swap your controller ports. He'll like make the game look like it reset. Like that's the kind of fourth wall breaking it does. But 3 is my favorite.
Well, didn't 1 have like a secret ending or something like that?
I never honestly played 1 set.
Yeah, you got the dog ending from Silent Hill 2.
Oh yeah, that is the best secret ending of all time. Because like Silent Hill 2, in general, is what this dark, brooding city, and you have to go through to solve your own personal problems and shit like that.
At the very end, you just find out a dog did it.
Well, no, actually, in 2, you have to beat the game once, do a secret thing, find a key, beat the game again, unlock the fucking door, and you find a dog on a control panel with a headset.
A wild dog meat has appeared.
Basically.
And then Preston Garvey at the very end of the game comes up to you and says, another settlement needs your help.
I wish I could.
To which I replied, I'm ripping out your heart now.
And then you can, unless you have mods. Or you get the DLC where you can be a raper. That's the best thing.
Let's face it, everyone looked forward to that DLC.
Just
Wait, you
Preston
can kill
Garvey.
Preston Garvey? I'm buying it.
I will spend $20 killing Garvey every time. Did I tell you about my accidental what I did in Fallout 4?
Didn't you accidentally like throw him over a barrier or something?
No, I accidentally romanced Preston Garvey as a dude. I didn't realize that's what I was doing because I had him as my guy for a long time because at some point I just stopped giving a shit about the fact that he was my side character that I just had, and I just was like, here, hold my shit and do all that, and I just talked to him because he talked to me. It's like, what's up, Preston? It's like, and I was like, I have feelings for you. I'm like, wait, no, that's not what I meant to say. Go back. I wanted to romance Piper, not him.
Wait, hold on, I didn't press quick save first.
Honestly, I romance Piper and the Scottish chick. What's her name? Kat. Yeah, as long as you never sleep in a bed with the other one within the vicinity and sleep with them, they never notice. Legitimately, like I had both romance, and I would just sleep with one at different times.
I'm bored of you. I'm going to my side hoe.
My side hoe. You, when you've been married for 20 years and you realize you're the side hoe.
Hey, go talk to one of your hoes, baby. You are one of my hoes.
You are the side hoe.
Hold on, wait. I'm the father of your children. Not exactly.
See, look, while you weren't realizing it, I was actually impregnating other women. You, well, you were a drunken mistake I accidentally had to marry. Ouch.
Damn kids.
Actually, there's actually a funny an interesting theory about Fallout 4. How in the beginning you're in the cryostasis for however long, and when we come out of it, the theory is the radiation basically give everybody else leukemia. So the reason why you're so powerful, because you were a soldier beforehand as well, you're basically superhuman compared to everybody else that exists.
You don't have fucking cancer.
Theory. But
yeah.
the one thing in Fallout 4 that still avoids clarification. It doesn't matter how many videos I watch on the subject of is Sean really your son, or is spoiler alert, is father really Sean rather. They go through those kinds of discussions and they give interesting details that kind of point to one or the other. But the thing that they never really say regarding the time difference, or explain rather, is you come out in Diamond City thinking or assuming that some time has passed, right? Your son is a little older than you expected. 10 years old is what you think until you meet father, which is around 60 to 70 years old. And the thing that bothers me about that is if father is 60 to 70 years old, then what the fuck is Kellogg? Because that
No, they do explain that.
Yeah,
they do.
They do.
He's
He's partially synthetic, so they keep him alive.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that makes way more sense. I don't think I ever discovered that.
Yeah, they talk about that when basically in the game you go into his memories. You kill him and take his little cybernetic chip in his head, and it shows you kind of stuff like that, how he became what he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, now I guess I just didn't pay very much attention during that part. I just kind of wanted to be done with it.
Honestly, you were doing what most gamers say. I want to go kill things, get rid of the cutscenes.
No, it wasn't.
My problem with Fallout 4 is that it doesn't give me as much freedom as Fallout 3 or New Vegas ever did, where I had these crazy ass options to like blow people up and shit in the middle of a conversation. Like there's a specific conversation you can have with a New California Republic officer in which you're like, I'm a jokester. He's like, yeah, really? So am I. It's like, yeah. Matter of fact, I just pulled the pin from your grenade. Haha, that's funny. And you blow up. If you have enough skill for that, it is. But fuck, that's funny.
Yeah, it is.
But they don't do that shit.
They don't do it to the same extent. However, there is one funny little tidbit about Fallout 4. Unlike almost every other RPG where drinking alcohol gives you some effect and sometimes blurs your vision, Fallout 4 is the only game that I have seen where drinking alcohol actually affects your dialogue. Not to the same extent as having low intelligence in Fallout 3 or New Vegas, but you slur words heavily whenever you start talking to people. You'll be like, hey, I need to talk to you. And it's funny that they put that in there because alcohol has never been anything more than here's a random stat boost with a debuff, and also if you drink enough, your vision starts to go wonky.
Yeah, and honestly though, my favorite dialogue option in New Vegas has to be if you have low intelligence. There's a base you find in the game for the boomers, and you try to help them to get their friendship for the final battle because they have a bomber. And there's this area where people are sick. One guy's got a heavily infected arm, and if you have a high medicine, you can treat it or you can amputate it. If you have a low intelligence, the dialogue option is literally in all caps, chop, 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 and you can do that. And then the doctor's like, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, I don't know, I thought I did a good job. And
You shouldn't have trusted me, I don't have a medical license.
Does anybody in this time period have one?
Wait, actually, no, Old World Blues. Old World Blues. You can have an argument with your own brain.
And, I remember that.
And if you have low intelligence, it's the best thing ever. Basically,
are you really my brain?
Yeah, no. Your brain was basically saying to you, you're like, all right, brain, time to get back in my head. Let's go. And he's like, why would I go back with you? And he's acting like all upset. And you're like, you ask him like, what's wrong? And he's like, why do you think I go back to you? Running through radiated environments, through rusted nails, getting shot at with explosives all around you. I'm safe here. You're not smart. And if you have a dialogue option, you can be like, you're not my brain. My brain in my head. And your brain will literally say to you, you're the special kind of sort, aren't you? Your brain literally basically assumes you're mentally retarded. And
I mean, it is your brain. It would know.
yeah.
That's the funny thing is that your brain, the brain in question states, you're the special kind of sort, aren't you? Whenever, like, wouldn't it be the same intelligence level as you?
Apparently, Overworld Blues is also basically an old school horror sci-fi movie, so, you know. In the beginning of that...
Nothing makes sense.
The DLCs of Fallout 4 or Fallout in general have never made much sense.
Yeah, honestly, and like it's true, but my favorite thing about Overworld Blues is the very beginning, the very, very beginning. Because the basically the plot is these people put their brains into these tanks, they're called the think tank. And they haven't seen an actual human being in like hundreds of years. So when they see you, they're freaking out about your appendages and shit. And the main one...
Oh my god, it has fingers!
Little foot penises! That's literally what it says.
God.
I was like, what?
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Like, if you're a think tank, then you would think your memory data logs would at least have pictures of what you used to look like when you looked in the mirror.
Well, you find out they're so crazy because they took too many mentats.
They took too much meth.
well, there you have it. Your brain has a drug problem.
I don't have a drug problem. My brain does.
It's the solution to every addiction problem in the world. Just get rid of your brain.
It's the only way.
God damn it.
We've gone through so many subjects. I don't know if we should continue this, cut it off.
I think we're good here, guys. I think we've done a very good job, and I think we've had a lot of fun just chatting about and all that.
I think before we close off, we should give a little editor's note, I guess you could say. We will be having more localized discussions in the future. This was our first attempt at getting a stimulized conversation going, and we're going to try and stay more on topic by having specific videos. Like, say, we have a Fallout 4 discussion, or we have a Dark Souls
lore. I know all the lore. I can give you the complete synopsis.
Right.
Definitely.
This is our first attempt, and I pray we don't get too
distracted?
Yeah, or roasted by the comment section, which we can always expect that because regardless of how good content may be, there's always that one guy.
Yeah. Well, everybody, this is the Anything Rolls podcast, and we'll be back as soon as we can.